Hey, this is Paulo,
And this is Nick from Trivium.
and if you're not in the now, you're in the nothing.
Hey, for those of you in the now, I'm here with Paulo and Nick from Trivium. How's it going, guys?
Great. Good.
Very good.
In
Very
Kansas. Hanging.
At the Cotillion Ballroom, the Round Mound of Sound.
Yes, we're here. We're gonna rock.
Yeah, and you're out on tour right now doing a co-headliner with Devil Driver, and then we got After the Burial in the mix.
Yep.
How's that going so far? I mean, you getting along with the bands that you're out with and everything?
Fighting every day. No, no, it's been great. Really smooth, actually. We've known Devil Driver since 05 or so. I think the first tour we did together was supporting In Flames, both of us. We've just done a lot of shows, so we knew them coming into this. I think we met some of the guys from After the Burial before. Super cool guys, and unfortunately Silosis was on the tour. They had their RV accident and they had to go home after it. Thankfully they're all right, but the tour's been smooth, and we've had some really killer shows, fun nights afterwards.
It's unfortunate what happened to Silosis, but what's kind of neat out of the experience is now a lot of the local openers are getting a chance to play open for you guys, including tonight, which I know I know the guys, and they were very excited to be opening for legends like Trivium. So,
That's the best way for bands to get out there, get in front of a new audience, hopefully.
I think it's harder to get on local shows as an opener these days, probably because there's always full tour packages.
Yeah,
so.
it's definitely not easy. I mean, I remember being a local band trying to get on a lot of shows back in the day, and it's definitely not tough, it definitely is tough, but if you're persistent, you'll get your opportunities when something like this happens.
So has anything crazy happened on this tour so far? Anything nuts you can talk about?
Yeah, like last night everyone got really drunk in Oklahoma. I didn't, but
Nick, I heard a laugh. Did you get drunk?
Nick was pretty drunk. There was free drinks, the bar next door.
I don't know about anything crazy. But
Nothing crazy, just regular sloppy drunkenness. It was funny,
Yeah.
You gotta let loose sometimes. You can't be always so proper. It is supposed to be a little bit of rock and roll here and there.
Absolutely. But you guys are a pretty healthy band, right? I mean, you guys all keep in shape.
Don't do heroin or anything terrible, but we all like to have a drink now and then. For Matt and I, we've kind of made the decision that we'll only drink if there's a day off the next day, just for vocal stuff. It definitely helps big time.
You definitely tell a difference.
Yeah, I mean, the alcohol definitely dehydrates you and your vocal cords, and I just think it just helps a lot more. You feel better singing the next day, but it kind of makes the show before a day off even that much more fun. You can have a drink after, not care.
Then you're not always hungover on the tour and forgetting things, and
Or Nick are the ones that can hold it down every night, here and there.
What's your drink of choice, Nick?
right now, just like vodka or wine, something like that.
Vodka or wine? What?
Mixes it together?
No.
It's called the Trivium.
Try it out, kids. It tastes great.
So Vengeance Falls, it's coming out here in like 4 days. October 15th. Yeah, it's October 11th today. Vengeance Falls is out this week. There's already some reviews on the net. I see some circulating. Looks pretty strong response. And there's a stream available right now through the website, right?
Yeah, it's I believe it's up. If you go to trivium.org, it should take you to the stream. You can listen to it there. I hope people go check it out. Listen through a few times, and if you like it, tell your friends. Just tell us what you think about it.
So, and what's been the overall response then? I mean, you've had strong reviews, so I mean, have you?
I haven't really gone through every single thing to know the general
It's
consensus.
not fully out yet.
Yeah, it's kind of
not
weird.
Out in the U.S. yet.
It's kind of hard to say.
You can stream it in the U.S., right? I mean,
it's just, for me, it's with music, I have to live with something for a bit. Anytime a new album comes out, when I first listen to something, it's hard to wrap my head around. It's you think about it. For us, we've been living with a lot of this music for almost 2 years. We recorded it for months. We listened to it throughout the mixing and the mastering. We've had a long time to really get to know the material. So for us, it's just we know it in and out. When you first hear something, you're not going to catch every little thing. I mean, I even think back when I was young, listening to bands that I love now. It took a bit to get into stuff. I mean, when I first heard the band Death, I didn't get it. I was like, this is really really weird.
What was the first song you heard, like Crystal Mountain or something? Or?
No, I mean, Sound of Perseverance was the first Death album I heard, which is probably their most like technical, really really weird. I'm like, man, the screaming is really weird. I'm not sure about it. I like some of the parts, and the more I listened to it, I fell in love with the band. And now I will put Death up there with Metallica for me. They're just such a great band. They're the band that got me into screaming. Like before that, I hated screaming. I thought it was terrible. And when I heard them and the way he did it, and with the technicality and the melody behind the screaming, I thought it was incredible.
Speaking of Metal Militia and the subject of Metallica, have you guys seen Through the Never yet?
He saw it.
Yeah.
What'd you think?
It was cool.
Yeah,
I liked it. Yeah.
It was really cool.
It was fucking awesome. Yeah. I'd go see it again.
You should definitely go see it.
I wanna check it out.
I actually thought in some ways it was better than seeing them live. It was kind of a,
Really?
it definitely had like a different film, cinematic thing
it
going
seemed
on.
pretty cool. When I heard them describe it as them trying to make their version of like Pink Floyd's The Wall or Led Zeppelin, The Song Remains the Same, it kind of made more sense to me. At first, I'm kind of curious how they're going to tie in a storyline to a Metallica show. But then when I heard that, and then from what people have been telling me, it sounds really killer.
Yeah, definitely go see it. I mean, especially, everybody kind of lumps you guys as huge Metallica fans, so
Oh, yeah.
it's definitely worth seeing it. So,
Yeah.
following in the footsteps.
Yeah, well, we actually our Vakken performance this year, they shot one song in 3D. So
Really?
yeah, so we're gonna be in 3D.
Really? Is it
Yeah.
gonna be like on a DVD?
Yeah, they're making a
maybe.
movie.
Really? Like a
Yeah.
walk-in movie or a Trivium movie?
No, it's a Vakken
It was like an
movie.
interview. We did they interviewed
Yeah.
a bunch of bands and
They interviewed us for about an hour.
Yeah.
It's really cool. I don't really know the whole concept. They were just asking us a lot of questions about not only Vakken and playing there, but just metal in general, what it means to us, and it sounded really like a cool concept, and it was all in 3D.
That's amazing. But speaking of that, are you guys planning on, I don't know if it's something you guys can share or not, but you guys ever planning on releasing a live DVD? I mean, you guys are 6 albums in now.
I think we definitely will. I think for us, if we're going to do a DVD, we'd like to do something a little bit different. I don't know. We just haven't really thought of any concept that we're like, we have to do this, we have to make this happen. Maybe at the end of this album cycle. Right now, I don't think that's something that's a priority for us. But I think we could definitely, with the material we have now, we can make a really killer set list for a DVD. I just don't know what we have planned right now.
So, back on the subject of Vengeance Falls. Well, Nick, this is the first album you've actually. No, you were in M Waves too, right? So, how does it? Do you feel like you're finally? I'm sure you feel like you've been part of the family for a while, but are you doing a lot of the writing on this, or did you do a lot of the writing on this previous one as well?
we all wrote it. I mean,
Yeah.
Paulo had ideas. Corey had. We all had ideas for the album. So, but yeah. I mean, I had my 100% input on it and everything, and with the guidance of everybody else, we
It's kind of like we
that.
just someone will bring in some music and we all talked about it. I mean, that was one thing we
Yeah.
did a lot in this album was kind of like, hey, what do you think of this? Or, wouldn't it be cool if we did this? And there's a lot of, more so than just making demos and making just countless riffs, we talked about what we wanted to hear, what we wanted to get out of the album, what we want to hear from a metal record.
Right.
It's 100% our opinion and what we think a metal record should be like, but that was the goal. What makes a great metal record? What do we love about metal? What do we want to hear? And how can Trivium make this record? And by talking about a lot of this stuff, we came up with a lot of our best ideas on tour.
It's definitely still got the Trivium flavor too. Like each album has its own unique Trivium flavor. Everything. You guys are very experimental, and you guys actually You guys take the risk to go out there and actually not put out the same album over and over, and that's respectable. You can tell on each album, all the way back to the Crusade. I mean, each album is just so much different. So with this album, you guys went into the studio with David Draymond. I believe you guys recorded at his house. And what was he able to bring to the table that What was he able to bring uniquely to this record over the past few records? Something different.
I think him being a musician, a vocalist, being in a band gives you that much more insight into what we're going through, having experienced it himself. And with Matt as a vocalist, I think he was able to really help him through the process of pushing his vocals to another level, really strengthening his vocals, being able to pull off the stuff he was doing on the CD, being mindful that we had to play this stuff live. That was a real big thing. He didn't just focus on vocals, though. When we got in there with pre-production, we worked from 10 a.m. to almost 10, 11 p.m. every night for 2 weeks. And we went through everything, like every detail of the song, whether it was Nick's parts, whether it was guitar riffs that maybe a guitar riff was too simple. And it was a cool riff, but it needed more to it, like something like Brave This Storm, which was initially just, the first part of it was the riff. But then it became a riff that kept expanding and kept changing. If you listen to it, every 2 times around, it changes and something a little bit different about it each time. And so, we were able to bring out a little bit more of that progressive technical side of Trivium that maybe In Waves didn't have as much of. So that was something he definitely brought to us. He didn't want to dumb the music down. He wanted to make sure that there was, layers and more dynamics, really bring everything up, make it bigger, sonically bigger. He really suggested that we make this album sound fuller and bigger, and just that when you hear it, it sounds like a big record, to have that thick low end.
Yeah, he let Trivium be Trivium too. It seems like he didn't,
Yeah.
I mean, even being in Disturbed.
He's
Disturbed.
been listening to Trivium since before Ascendancy came out. He saw us open for Danzig in 2005.
Wow.
That's when we first met him, and he's been a big supporter of our band since then. And that is actually one thing, that I've always respected with David. He's, obviously in a really successful band, but he's always, and the guys in Disturbed as well, they've always given support to bands, like Trivium, who started off in the van, as their way, working your way up. It's cool when bands like that give, the support to.
They acknowledge that at one point they were there.
Yeah, that they were there, and it's just cool that it was able to work out that years later, the right timing happened, and we made In Waves. David really loved what we were doing, and that's kind of how it came about.
Cool. And I was wondering, so being a drummer, Nick, and then you being a bassist, Paul, do you guys ever jump on each other's instruments and write that way, or do you guys just literally stick to your own instrument? Like, do you ever jump on electric guitar or bass or anything and try to write anything and bring it to the table, or?
Not really. I mean, I stick to drums, for the most part, but Paulo comes up with a lot of cool drum parts and stuff because he's a bass player too, and somehow we have the same ideas on a lot of shit. So
I think with him too, if I write a riff and show it to him, he can, he understand. Yeah, he understands it as well. Being able to, maybe not make the riff to show me, but being able to understand the riffs and the way we play stuff. That's definitely something. Kind of go back and forth. It was kind of like within Waves, that type of thing when we would jam. I was jamming over at his place and stuff. I'd just come over there, might have a riff, and we would jam out to that stuff and talk about what would be cool to do.
So, what's the most generous thing you've ever done for a fan?
I try to definitely keep an eye out for people that maybe can't make the shows because of financial stuff. If they're for some people, life, obviously, it's going to come first before a show, and if I can help someone out here and there. I mean, I can't do it every show, not always available, but if it's just a show where I know we have some extra tickets, I wouldn't, think twice about offering, hey, you want to come out to the show still, I could still give you a ticket or so, and I think it goes a long way. We want people to come to the show and be able to come out, so I know we've done that a lot with people, and actually some of our, earliest fans that have been coming out for years and years. Some people that have seen us 40, 50 times, we'll pretty much just be like, listen, just, Matt will give them his email and be like, listen, just hit me up if you want to come to a show. You can always have tickets on us and stuff. I mean, at that point, 40 or 50 shows, buying shirts, buying so much stuff. I mean,
I think I'm at 14 or 15.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of people overseas that have definitely seen us. I think the last time in the UK, it was someone that saw us almost 50 times.
Wow, that's incredible. And you guys get such a good response in Europe, it seems like. I mean, you guys play bigger shows.
They're very, very passionate about music, and there's just a great music scene there in general.
So hopefully, actually Vengeance Falls was released. Was it today in Europe or?
It's out in Germany, I know.
Germany.
So it's probably out in a few other countries, and Japan and Australia have it.
Has it been? Do they have charts out there? Right? Has it
Yeah.
been charting and all that?
We probably won't get like official charts till maybe next week, but I know it was all high up on all the, Amazon, iTunes type charts. So, we'll see where it goes from there. I think we'll do pretty well in terms of that, but it's not something I would lose sleep over if we didn't beat in waves by like a few.
Well, very cool, guys. What's coming up next for Trivium? You're on a headliner right now. Do you have anything coming up before the end of the year and early in next year that you can talk about?
I've heard a lot of plans, a lot of different cool tours that I've heard about in the States, but nothing is solid yet. But we definitely will be back. I would imagine we'd be here in like April, May. Kind of like when we were here last time with Five Finger, that time frame when like a lot of the festivals are happening and you do a couple shows here and there.
So maybe we can see you guys on a festival?
Yeah, very possible.
I'd like to see a return of Ozfest. That'd be nice, but we'll see.
I've heard rumors about some cool festivals in the summer, so that's all I can say.
Cool.
Rumors.
Well, where can we find Vengeance Falls?
Your local record store, if you have one. Best Buy has a special edition that they're carrying. I believe they are the ones with the special edition.
It's exclusive to Best
I think
Buy?
It's exclusive to them.
And
So
what comes on that? Do you know? Or
it's one or both of the covers that we did, and both B-sides original songs that we did.
keep that in mind. And
Yeah.
there's no, they're not doing any kind of like special stuff at Target or Hot Topic or Amazon.
Not that I've heard of yet, but you could definitely probably pick the CD up at all those.
So pick it up anywhere, but if you're like a huge fan, get it at Best Buy.
And iTunes, Spotify, it's all cool. Share it with Spotify. That's a very important thing, as I was saying before.
Spotify, tell me a little bit about Spotify. Just a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Well, it's the streaming service for $9.99 a month, and if you get Trivium on there, please share it if you like it, of course. I think it's amazing that you can spread the word of mouth about a band so much better and quicker. And not even like, oh, this band's cool, you should check it out. It's like, here's the link, here's the music. Putting it in front of them, you know.
Like Netflix for your music, right?
Oh, yeah, I think it's cool. I mean, I was reading a thing the other day about how, how Netflix not only like made a show like House of Cards, which is awesome, you got to see it if you haven't, but
I hear good things.
yeah, well, that's the thing. It's like everyone sees it. It's just all there, and it just spreads word of mouth. It's not like worried about ratings like a regular TV show where it's like a show that's just made. It's all there. They don't have to think about pilots. They can just make a great show, and a great show is going to spread like wildfire. Just like Breaking Bad. I mean, I caught up to Breaking Bad. I didn't watch it on TV.
I only watched one episode, but
Yeah.
it was good.
Yeah, and if you watch it through and you're like, wow, this is great, you spread the word. Same with the music. I think that's why streaming is definitely kind of taking over the whole MP3 thing.
Are you guys Walking Dead fans, by the way, since that's coming up this weekend?
Yeah, I'm into
Never
it.
seen it.
I'm into it.
You gotta watch it while you're out.
That's tough for us, we're on tour, so we gotta it sucks. You gotta turn off your social networks when, like the last couple Breaking Bad things, we were just like, no one look at Twitter or Facebook.
Exactly. Especially as connected as you guys are.
We were watching it after we played the show usually, so it was just like, you had to shut everything off. People like to ruin things.
Yeah, that's not fair. So definitely check out Trivium, trivium.org, and then check out inthenowmagazine.com. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.